Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing details. In the 1990s, the IWC Portugieser became a permanent offering after decades of on-again, off-again availability. And in 1998, the Portugieser Chronograph 3714 bowed and began a spectacular two-decade run as the best-selling Portuguese model of all time. Originally launched for the Jubilee year of 2018, the 3716 that you see right here is the successor to the long-running bestseller. Does it live up to the legend? Let's find out. This specific variant, the Blue Panda, debuted in 2022, so you get a general sense of when this was made. It is the 3716-20 to be precise, and it's 41 millimeters in diameter, 13.3 millimeters thick in stainless steel, 48 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip across the wrist, and then a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and it fits nicely. I'd recommend this watch for wrists as small as 14.5, 15 centimeters circumference. Smaller if your wrist is flatter, larger if your wrist is rounder. You can see it fits low enough that it'll slide underneath the dress cuff. There is a little bit of cantilever to the bezel, so that could be a complication if you're wearing super tight sleeves. But then again, just loosen your sleeve. That's not healthy. It'll easily fit underneath any kind of a jacket cuff. And while it is a dress watch, it's also a fairly sporty take with the Blue Panda combination in tandem with a rubber strap and a steel case. It's a good looking watch, and you can see on my wrist, the lugs come nowhere near the edge. The strap, like I said, a handsome and sporty piece, thick. It has a sort of weave pattern on the top. This is a brand new IWC factory strap, no crimping, no gouging. It's matched with an IWC pin buckle, polish and satin for a little bit of detail to match the case, which features a similar contrasting finish. It has the age-old Portuguese integrated lugs, polished lug hoods, satin flank. We have a splayed out bezel that's all polished. We have vintage inspired pump style pushers and an IWC crown that says Probus Scafusia on it, a good solid watch made in Schaffhausen. We have a lacquer dial in white. You can see the numerals are raised above the dial base, and they match the blued leaf style hands. We have a lancet style counterweighted seconds hand, likewise for the sub registers, both of which are countersunk into the dial and feature a snailed concentric pattern internally. You can see the dial actually has pretty good depth, as there is a flange outboard for reading minutes, seconds, and fractions of chronograph seconds. You can also see that the dial has a sort of cruciform symmetry that's visually satisfying. Now, one feature retained from the 3714 is the use of an oscillating pinion clutch. And oscillating pinion clutches are lateral clutches that have very little play. When you press and hold the chronograph start-stop trigger, you could see back there just how little extraneous movement there was in the chronograph seconds hand. That's why oscillating pinions, although we take them for granted on 7750s, they're actually considered to be a high-end option for a lateral clutch that has to be precise, which is why we're seeing more and more of them from brands like Richard Mille, De Bethune, and FP Journe. So in addition to the oscillating pinion engagement, we get an upgrade from the previous 7750. No longer a 7750 base, the 3716, as compared to the 14, uses a column wheel chronograph movement. You can see the column wheel, large and polished, and it makes for a much crisper actuation and a sharper sound. So we have a movement that's actually the same size as the 7750 and is very similar in many regards, but the big upgrades include a little bit more power reserve, 5-position adjustment, and that column wheel. So let's talk a bit about this movement first. Things you should know. We still have a hacking or stop seconds function. We still have an oscillating pinion. We've gained the column wheel. It's 5-position adjusted, which is the high horology and chronometer standard. It pivots on 27 jewels. It features a bidirectional winding system rather than the unidirectional system of the old 7750. It's bidirectional and pawl-based, magic lever style. You can see this is caliber 6.9 355, and this was developed by Volflurier, though made by IWC. Volflurier is a movement designer inside of Richemont that helps to supplement the movement design chops of the tenant watch brands of Richemont. So that's exactly where this came from. It has a 46-hour power reserve, which is about 4 more than a standard 7750 architecture, and then all this is water resistant down to 30 meters, which is standard for a dress watch. And of course it has a display case back, something that the old 7750 based 3714 Portuguese chronograph did not have. So reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.